at this ceremony today to celebrate excellence in education. I think it's an amazing opportunity to combine what businesses should be doing, which is improving the lives of the community in which it operates. For that reason, I'm very happy to be here to share this event with you, and perhaps one or two words of some of the things that I have learned along my own journey. I'm still learning, and this is one of the things I want to encourage you. Never stop learning, whatever level you get to. The minute you stop learning, you stop growing. So don't ever get to a point where you think you know everything. You don't. I can assure you, whatever you know, somebody else knows something extra. So never stop learning. The motto of the foundation is knowledge, future, and legacy. And I want to start there by reminding myself, as I remind you, that there is a very big difference between information, knowledge, and wisdom. Not everybody who has information is knowledgeable, and not everybody who has knowledgeable is wise. And the difference is this: information is merely data. It is merely data. You can get facts and figures from everywhere, from the books, from the internet, and all that is information. When you have the capacity to organize that into a form that can have recognized order, that becomes knowledge. So knowledge is actually organized information. And then when you are able to use that knowledge appropriately, at the right time, in the right place, in the right way, that is what we call wisdom. So there's a very big difference between those three. And as you go about your own educational journey, I want to urge you to always keep this in mind. Are you getting information? Are you getting knowledge? Or are you becoming wiser? And the way to distinguish between those three is quite simple. Moving beyond education, I want you to look at getting quality education. It's not enough that you're in school. It shouldn't be enough. You need to ask yourself, is what I am getting out of this quality? And quality education is education that goes beyond preparing you to pass exams. Is that education preparing you to deal with the world? Is it preparing you to be successful in the world? And I urge you to distinguish yourself as God has distinguished you from the donkey. If you meet a donkey and it is carrying a whole library of books on its back, does that make the donkey wise? Does it make it knowledgeable? No, so don't be like that donkey. The fact that you can carry a lot of information and a lot of knowledge in and of itself will not make you any different if you don't do something useful with that knowledge. So what I want to urge you, and we see this, a lot of the society around us, including the society that we live in, we have very many graduates right now. People have all sorts of degrees and certificates. So why do we seem to be regressing as a society? Why do we seem to be going backwards? Because that knowledge that we have obtained doesn't seem to have illuminated our hearts and our minds. So we have knowledge because we want to come and wave a piece of paper to say, this is what I have. But to the extent that the knowledge you have got has not helped you have good manners, if the knowledge that you have is not helping you offer service to the society, then really we may not be very much different from the donkey carrying the library of books. So I urge you, as you move forward in your own journeys, don't be a statistic. Yes? There's a reason why God created each of you individually. As I was sitting here looking out at all of you, you all are different. You're deliberately created different. So don't be a statistic. Don't go into your schools to disappear among a statistic that says 50% of the people in ABC school did this and that. Why? If you are not created to be identical to somebody else, why are you not honoring the God that created you by seeking excellence? And so what is excellence? It is actually doing ordinary things extraordinarily well. I'm not asking you to go out there and look for something that, you have to always create something from zero. We are not telling you don't. Please do. We want you to innovate. We want you to be entrepreneurial. You've heard about the Leadership Academy, but we also want you to focus at the ordinary tasks and do them extremely well. Somebody used to say, if you're given a cup to wash it like it's never been washed before. And I can tell you, when we look at employees within the organization and you're looking at who do you want to promote, who do you want to move on to the next big project, you will never look at that person who doesn't give back. They don't give of themselves. They're always sitting in a corner somewhere waiting for the big project, that they will apply themselves when they get the position, when they get the title, when work goes to those who work. That person who proves themselves in the small jobs is the one who is given the big jobs. That's how it works. If I've never tested you, there is no way I will entrust you with a $100 million oil exploration project. There is no way. The small project that you've been asked to do in the office, you can't do it. You really think I'm going to put $100 million at risk on you? It will never work. So for you as students, don't say when I become the prefect or the class monitor or the head girl, the head boy, then I'll show them what I'm made of. No, you must lead from where you are. You do not wait for a title to lead. No title is required for you to exercise leadership, which means give your best from whatever you are, whatever level, whatever grade, whatever class you're in, give your best from there. That is when you see doors opening up. Sometimes you see doors opening up for people and you wonder, how did so-and-so get there? Maybe they had this influence. Maybe their family knows somebody. That may play a small role, but the bigger role is what have you shown you're capable of? And if you're not showing that, if you keep enclosing yourself, waiting to be made a prefect so that you can prove you can do it, then the probability that you will get there is actually quite small. Excellence requires hard work. It requires dedication. It requires devotion. And one of the things is that when you see excellence in something, for instance, if you see an excellent calligrapher, all you see is the final result. You don't see the hours of hard work and practice that this person puts in. When you see an excellent artist, you don't know the number of weekends and nights that this person has spent perfecting their work. So it is with education. Don't see somebody who is excelling and getting all their A's and S stars and just assume, no, this person is just blessed. I am not equally blessed. It takes hard work. It takes devotion, and you need to apply yourself. So I encourage you to work hard, but I encourage you to read beyond school books. The school books you have to read because this is part of the curriculum, but you need to expand your mind. You need to open your mind up to the world around you. And I encourage you to set a personal target for yourself. Maybe you can decide to read one additional book a month. Nothing to do with your school studies, just something that will open up your mind to a different perspective, a different way of thinking. A lot of the schools have libraries. Go in there. Or maybe you have an online library that you can access, but read beyond your curriculum. And then, beyond reading, I encourage you, whatever level you're at, to start writing. You're reading what other people have written. Why can't we read what you have written? Remember, they say, until the lion learns how to write, the narrative will always favor the hunter. Yes? The lion may have been the brave one out in the field, but who is there to say how brave the lion was? The hunter will glorify himself, isn't it? So especially when I hear, some of the stories that we are talking about here today, no one is going to come and write your story for you or write your narrative. You write your own narrative. So start writing. It may be little blogs initially, then they may become short stories, then they may become longer stories. One day, I would love to be reading a book written by one of the recipients of the First Community Educational Foundation. I encourage you to focus very much on having good manners. It is fundamental and it is critical. The world we live in today is all about the cloud and the crowd. It's about teamwork. It's about pulling together to achieve a common goal. You may be the sharpest bulb in the room, but if you don't have good manners, I can assure you nobody wants to hang around you. And we have had people exit from organizations who are absolutely brilliant, but they can't work with anybody. And in today's world, I guarantee you, you cannot win alone. It doesn't matter how brilliant you are. If you can't work with a team, we cannot have the entire company being demotivated because of this one star. It doesn't work like that. Most likely that star will be exited so that the rest of the company can pull together and thrive. So I urge you, focus very much on your manners. Learn to say please, learn to say sorry, difficult as it is. Learn to say thank you. Learn to flush the toilet after you have used it. Really, I don't understand. People go to university, they get extremely complicated degrees. You know, everything from law to medicine to actuarial science, but you don't know how to use the toilet? How has that degree helped you? You know, people must be able to see the level of culture in you through your manners. And at the heart of it, tell yourself, I will always leave the toilet cleaner than I found it. It doesn't matter that you found it dirty. You leave it cleaner than you found it. Have that as a personal principle and see what else it does in terms of building up your character. I encourage you, in addition to the values that your schools have your own personal values. What are you about? There must be certain things that you hold dear, that you write down. I write down my values. These are my values as Summayya. This is what they mean to me, and this is how I seek to apply them as I live my life. And it doesn't mean that I will always reach the level that I want to be, but at least I have a goal that I move towards. And I'll share one value of mine with you, and I encourage you to see how you can absorb this in your own life. It is more important to be kind than to be right. I completely believe that. You can be right, and I'm a lawyer by training, so you know we are trained in how to engage and have discourse and argue and all that. But at the end of the day, the same message can be delivered to the other person with kindness. Or you can deliver the same message and completely destroy the other person because you're being very harsh in the words that you use. So I encourage you, whatever message you deliver, it is more important to be kind than to be right. I want to urge you again, don't wait for somebody else to come and do something. It's not my job. It's not my role. Go beyond that. We want to train you beyond educational excellence to be leaders. And leaders don't wait for other people to come and do things. They take the lead. If you see that dirt thrown on the ground, don't be the person who says, it's not my job. Make it your job. You're a citizen of this world. Who are you waiting for? Somebody else to come and clean your environment for you? You need to make it your job. I encourage you to pray. I'm a big believer in prayer. At the end of the day, you need to take all the experiences around you that you're going through and that you will go through, pray about it, reflect about it, and then release it to the higher power. Because there is a higher power. Actually, I don't understand people who don't pray, because it means you're carrying the whole world on your shoulders. Why do you do that? When you can escalate to somebody who has more power than you, and then you leave it there and go about your business. I encourage you to pray, and I encourage you to exercise. You must keep fit. When your bodies are fit, your minds will be fit. Don't go there and become bookworms and do nothing else but read. That doesn't make you all-rounded, and we want you to be all-rounded, not well-rounded. You know the difference, yes? Okay, my last couple of points. I encourage you to get a mentor. It is very important to get a mentor. I myself am a beneficiary of mentorship, and I can tell you it is an amazing opportunity to give yourself, because your mentor is somebody who has gone through a lot of different experiences. Why do you want to recreate the wheel? You want to move beyond that. The wheel has already been created. How many years back? What value are you adding to the world by creating it again? Find something else to do with the wheel, yes? Remember, somebody found the wheel, he added wings to it and made an aeroplane. What are you going to add? Move it to the next level. Get a mentor, somebody you can share with, somebody you can talk to, somebody you can exchange ideas, and mentor somebody yourself. You may wonder, at your level, are you really able to get to mentor anybody? The answer is yes. All a mentor does is give you a listening ear and an opportunity to offload, and if you want, an opportunity to exchange ideas and give you some advice. And you can do that. The fact that you are the ones who are here today and not those other students out there shows that you have something extra. Now give back to somebody else. Don't keep all of that only to yourself. I urge you to be responsible. And one interesting exercise you may want to do for yourself. If your school administration gave you the opportunity to write school rules, your own rules, what would you write? Try and write your own school rules. And then internalize what that, and actually I hope your head teachers or class teachers give you the opportunity to share your own school rules with them. I think it would be a fascinating exercise when you are asked to write your own rules and then compare that with the rules that the teachers have written. You probably will see that you're not that far apart. When you are put in the position of responsibility, the way in which you will think, and what you will put out. So I encourage you, do that as an exercise for yourself, purely out of creativity. I urge you to avoid bad company. I urge you to avoid bad company, avoid bad practices. You will see all sorts of things in whatever levels you go to. You will see people who are drinking. You will see people who are doing drugs. You will see people who are engaging in premarital activities that they shouldn't be. And it may even be painted as the cool thing. And those of you who are not doing it will be looking like the country bumpkins and I don't know what words you use. We used to be called shao. Do you still use that word? People have come from shags, yes? So what? At the end of the day, you'll be the one standing behind the podium one day giving an address, and those people who are busy doing other things, well, we wish them well as well, isn't it? We pray for everybody as we pray for ourselves. Finally, I want to tell you to give back. I really want to urge you to give back. At whatever level you're in, give back. Determine what you are going to do to give back. And I'll give you one example. You can choose to spend 1 hour of every weekend giving free tuition to the estate around you or the community around you. Why not? You could be the reason that somebody else passes their maths exams or their science exams just because you use the knowledge and the resources that God gave you to help somebody else. Find a way to give back. And I'll tell you, right now, when we advertise for jobs, we have so many degrees coming through the door. So how do you choose between one and the other? You look for that person who does more, who goes the extra mile. You know, they do something else. They're not just there with a degree, but they're somebody who actually adds value to their society. And I urge you, in your own way, investigate how can you not be a statistic, but instead add value to the societies around you by honoring the God who gave you uniqueness and individuality. Thank you very much.